All
Let's hear
right,
Gabe.
guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're on episode number 3 of the podcast. Thank you
Season
for
one.
all the support and all the
Yeah.
positive feedback so far. We're actually having an absolute blast doing this, and we can't wait to continue and make more of these podcasts for you guys. So today we're gonna go.
I'm in
over-
uniform.
So today we're gonna go over the difference between running a 40 and a 50 millimeter axle for your 206, as well as the difference between running local events, state events, and national events. So I'm going to go ahead and ring these two in real quick, and we're going to go and jump right into it. So 40 millimeter versus 50 millimeter axle. Personal experience, I'm not a 40 millimeter guy, not a fan. Tried it in Ocala. I could not adjust the cart to get moving. And that's it. That's pretty much the only input I'm going to guy, 50 millimeter guy all the way. What do you got, Jorge?
I mean, you drove my cart and during the 24-hour race and had a 4 millimeter axle in it.
Yeah, and what
So
happened?
You finished. Well, you drove. That's the problem. You didn't know how to drive that time. The cart did fine. We did fine. We just ran out of brakes.
I admitted it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that was the
No.
4-hour race. The 4-hour race, he didn't admit that.
Okay, so 40 versus 50. This is what I think, at least for our carts. I think a 40 millimeter axle for our carts when the track is slick with less grip, I think it's better because our carts with the 40 grip up a lot. When there's a lot of grip, it just hops like crazy all over the place. So I would go 50 millimeter axle. I've been running the 40 millimeter axle now for almost over a year. Over a year I've been on the 40. And after the last round, I'm going to go back to a 50 millimeter axle.
Okay.
So I'm going to be back to 50.
Miguel, how do you feel?
Yeah, 50 all the way. Even though I've driven the 40, I remember when they first did that conversion, I went down to Ocala, and I wasn't really big of a fan of it. But I guess, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it does have to do with more, I don't know. It worked out for me. I didn't feel really hoppy, but
So
I think if you're a lighter guy, if the lighter class, I think it would work out better. I mean,
I think
all the other chassis come. Most of the chassis, I'll say the Borells come with 40 millimeters in it. MGMs,
But,
Coyotes.
like my chassis never really like hops, even with a 50. Like if I'm hopping, which was probably the only track is Homestead, but I think a lot of the hopping was just coming off the corners when I would Tom Cruise it over the apex and land it. You know, that's when it would hop. But that's like I would have to do something extraordinary like that. But I don't ever feel like my cart would really hop. If anything, it's more of a pusher than anything else. Like I always more loose, kind of like it would kind of like pushing probably because I never buy tires, but but that I've never felt if my cart's hopping, it's like it's gonna be a bad day with a 50.
So you keep saying hopping, Jorge. What do you like? For those that don't know, what does it mean when your car starts to hop? Generally,
Professional bull riding, 8 seconds. Hold on.
That's how I felt, man.
Yeah.
So my issue, there's a couple of hops. One is it basically overhikes and slams the back end back down. So we have too much lift where I'm not able to hold the rear up in the air, and it slams down and comes back up. That's one thing of hopping. That's what I was experiencing. The car would overhike. It just come up and just slam back down every freaking time. But my center of gravity, I'm a big guy. So my center of gravity is high. Even with the tire.
Even with light beer, too.
yeah.
That belt, dude, you got to get rid of that belt because when you lifted that, it was like,
I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to run with the light guys.
You've been losing weight for 4 years now. Whatever you're doing, tell me because I know it's not going to work. Be like, hey, this is how I lose weight. Yeah, tell me. It's totally not going to work. So tell me what you're doing. Wait, how do you gain weight? Tell me how you gain weight other than joining the army. Bulk up because you got to carry all your gear on your back, baby. Let's roll out. And then Cardigan's like, oh, this is the opposite.
Yeah, I need to lose weight for karting. But
that's all right. They create a super heavyweight. Quincy will back you up on that one.
So like I drove the VLR, and the VLR was the same issue. It just hopped like crazy all over the place, and I mean, it just would not settle down. Now the Comet is on a 40, but it always feels like you're loose. Remember when we drove the Comets, Miguel?
When?
In Jacksonville. Did you drive the Comet?
No, hell no. No.
Must have been just me.
No, sir. I've been green. I've been green since the day I was born. Oh, I did drive a Razor.
You did drive the Razor. How was that? That had an inch and a quarter axle in it, I think.
How was that? I don't even remember driving it. You told me, man, you raced that one in Ocala. I was like, I don't even remember. I remember racing in Jacksonville, but I don't remember racing in Ocala.
Yeah. So when I got in the Comet's like you're always loose. It feels like you're always loose. Like the cart, like the back end's always like, you better be holding on, baby.
Isn't that how you like your chassis, though, to set it up?
I drive the chassis loose, yes. But I always back my corners up. Okay. I make the chassis loose because I brake a lot earlier and then just
secrets.
There's no secrets. It's just
if anybody wants to outdrive Jorge, just outbrake him like I do. Jorge's like, what are you doing there? I'm driving like a tag. I always late brake. I feel like I don't brake late enough because I think one time it was at Homestead. Like I was like, okay, it's time to brake, and I was behind Colin in qualifying, and I brake, and he was like half a car length forward, and then he hit the brakes. I'm like, holy crap!
He probably didn't even touch the brake. He probably just turned.
Probably. I'm always a late breaker. Late break.
There's some tracks you only have to hit the brakes. Ocala, you hit the brake one time.
Yes, everybody take that advice.
Yeah, please take that advice.
Yeah, take that.
Miguel,
don't touch the brake.
Tell me how many times you hit the brakes on Ocala full track.
Three turns
one.
No,
dude, the first hairpin. The first hairpin.
That's it.
You have to.
Other than that, you might blip the throttle.
Depends on the layout.
I mean, it depends how the car's handling too.
But if the car's handling right, how many times you hit the brakes? Exactly, one time. Exactly.
Yeah, he's right. It's just on the first.
I know I'm right.
But you still lift because you like to say, listen, Jorge will tell you, I don't lift on the whole track. And then all of a sudden you're trying to follow him behind him, and you take a peek, and you're like, what is he doing? And then he's like, whoop, whoop. He's like, I never lift. And we're like,
that's why he doesn't put the camera anymore towards his feet. He's like, I don't want nobody to know I actually hit the freaking brakes. That's the guy. I don't touch the brakes, but his cart ran out of brakes. He used it so much. Master Cylinder said, all right, dude, it's been fun, but I'm out of here. Master Cylinder exploded on yours. Oh, here we go. There's your justification. Here's your politician. Come on.
I never
What's your excuse why you did not perform?
And I didn't use it.
Now
I didn't use it. You know what? I don't even want to post a second video of Homestead. That's how bad I did.
So, and what's on that video? Because that's the next video that we're gonna drop, right? So,
what's on that video? Gabe passing me, and I almost quit karting.
For sale.
I almost. You know what? I felt like going to turn one and not hitting the brakes. I said, if we both die, we die. That's what I felt like doing.
I believe it.
Taking us out. I mean, it was probably the worst experience of my life. Watching you pass me is probably the worst experience of my life.
With a 50mm axle.
Oh, that's true. When I went back, when I went back to the 50, the cart came alive. Like
it's always good to experiment. I think experimenting is good. Like putting a 40 in a chassis is not really meant to be because, hey, listen, people have only become fast because they've tried the weirdest crap and have actually made it work and fast, right? So I hope people understand, like, oh, you didn't do – okay, I'm in a cut-up tag chassis. We're trying a 40mm setup out that's not even meant to be. If I would have been in my lo206 chassis, I'm fine. I've checked it out. I would have done that from the beginning. You've always seen my car's always been quick.
But I want to try and make stuff faster.
Yeah, but Gabe's cart, man, in Homestead, you can see him come out of corner 1 and 2. His car was
Oh,
just
no,
like
yeah.
skirt, like he was moving, like it was just working. I don't think. I think that
the cart was flying. The cart was
Ain't alive.
flying.
The cart felt great. So
there's
Yeah,
always
the
got to be
TBS
experimentation, but experimentation I think should probably stick to like changing front end setup in certain areas and trying that with an axle. Like, I mean, we did a front end setup on my cart, and she boots get boogie even with old tires, and they're not a whole chassis change, just a front end change. Always like, throw it away, chassis change. How many motors have you been through in your 4 years? Let's just talk about that for a second.
how many has he been through the last 90 days?
A lot. Corey's always blaming on the engine, but I think sometimes it's just the chassis. Everybody's kind of equal.
I haven't bought a new engine. That's the problem. I just ordered a new engine. I'm not going to tell anybody where it's from. We're not saying where it's from.
Your new chassis is going to be what? An lo206 specific chassis with the 50 millimeter.
Oh, no, I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm trying something else as well. So I'm not telling anybody what chassis I'm going to be on.
So if you guys
I'll tell you this. For the spring grands, though, I will be on the S55 LO206 TB kart chassis with a brand new motor from someone I'm not telling you because I'm not fooling around to the spring grands. I'm going to go with the best of the best. For just practicing, I'm trying something else out new. It will be with a 50 millimeter axle, though.
So you're not going back to 40?
No, I'm done with the 40. I've tried it out. It not work for us or for me personally or for the group because we all tried the 40 and it just didn't work out for our chassis. Burrells make it work. VLRs make it work. I just saw the Aero come with a 50 millimeter back to 50. I think hold up. OTK, the new OTK are coming out with 50 millimeter axles too.
So Tony karts are?
Yeah, people are trying back and forth.
I mean,
they're always trying to find that edge.
Yeah, but everybody's like, oh, the bigger axle, the rotational mass. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, bigger, but the axle is thinner. But that's where you take the other components of where you put on the axle to make it help roll faster. So
have you weighed a 50 millimeter axle?
I haven't.
Weighs less.
Have you weighed a 40 millimeter axle?
It's more because it's small in diameter but thicker in metal.
No, well, it depends. The 2 millimeter, the soft ones, they're about the same weight when it comes to it.
Soft, but if you hit a rumble strip in Ocala with a soft 40, recycling bin.
I've never bent my axle. I never bent the 40 millimeter axle ever. Now what I'm saying is weigh the 2.5 millimeter 40 or the 3.2 millimeter 40. It's way heavier than a 50. So that rotational mass crap, you just throw it out the window. That doesn't mean shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they think it's a smaller axle, the quicker return.
Yeah, no, that's bullshit.
That's like with the front gear. A lot of people, I do it. I put the front gear, if I can, I'll put the smallest front gear I can for that circuit.
Now you are contradicting yourself.
I sound like I'm in an F1, the circuit. If we're at Spa.
Now you're contradicting yourself.
Why?
Does size matter then? When does the axle?
Wow, the axle. Okay, there you
go. We're still talking about axles, right?
Yeah.
He's been home alone.
Small. It's like a chainsaw. Not like.
By saying that, you're saying a 40 should be faster, less rotational. It's smaller.
It's the weight, though. You got to put the two together.
Oh,
the diameter and the weight. Like me putting a 15 front driver and a 16 front driver, a couple ounces, bro. Not like poundage or, How much is the difference? What's the weight?
So you're doing it by weight. That's the reason you put a smaller front driver on.
No. I don't put that much thought into it. I'm just looking at what rear gears I have, and I'm like, can't run a 16. Got to put a 15 because it's the only rear gear I got.
That's all we think about. That's what I'm thinking. We don't make that much sense.
If anybody's wondering, this is it all weekend, all race weekend. these two going back and forth. It doesn't matter what we're going over. We could be talking about how stickers go on a cart. We could be talking about anything. But this is from the arrival of Friday to the end of Sunday. It's not.
But this what makes us fast though. All the controversy, and then Jorge's like, and then Jorge's a watcher. He's like, dang, he made that work. Hey, do that in mine.
Yes.
Quick. He's like, hey, if you try that, it works. We'll do it in mine. But if it don't work, he's like, well, I was here at this point, so.
I think it's funny right after the.
Hey, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, man. You gotta try it.
But it was great. So right after the pre-finals, I walk back somewhere and I come back and I'm like, where the heck is my chassis? And I don't see it. I'm like, where'd it go? And I see it pulled up all the way to the other side of the tent. And who do I see doing this? Measuring from side to side just to copy.
Jorge.
I was like, oh.
What's his front end setup?
Yeah, what's his front
end? And then he uses my measuring tape. He's like, hey, what's your setup? All right. And then he tells somebody, hey, Junior, flip my front tires. Like, he tells everybody else what to do. And then he's like, hey, I'm going to grab a schedule. But when I got a schedule, take my rear tires off, take my front, put the lasers on. It's like, he's like, what are you going to do? I want to get us a schedule. Like, he makes, like, his job sound extraordinary.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my God, you're going to grab a schedule.
Yeah.
Stop. The world is turning. It's not turning anymore. Or he's like, yeah, I'm going to grab a schedule. Take my rear tires off. He trusts everybody. That's the thing. Like, how OCD I am, I'm like, poor Ruben Sr. always wants to help. And he's like, you know what? He asked me, he's like, do you need help? I was like, no, I'm good. He's like, okay, I already know you don't need help. I just want to ask you. I'm like, no, I'm good. Or he's like, give a freaking monkey a wrench. Or he's like, hey, take the rear tires off. Did you tighten it up? He's going to trust the monkey. Yeah. Okay. Put the cart on the ground.
And then if you make a mistake,
wait,
a tire fell off. Who tied my tire?
So for the video coming out, which Gabe will link in the description below, you'll see there's a part that I'm recording, and there's like 6 people on the chassis.
Yeah.
Behind me, because they're grabbing everything from one to the other, and they're just putting it on.
Sneak peek.
Man, it was. Oh my God! Yeah, that was so. And then you know what happened? God darn it! That was so fast.
Bye. So
next time you try to pass me, I'm wrecking you.
It's been really good the last few events. Like Ocala threw a dud, and I think it would have been the same thing. But if you go to the Grands video, so I'll link that video as well for the Grand National.
That's heartbreaking for you.
Or he just followed me the whole weekend. I mean, obviously, I had a dud the whole on the final, but the whole weekend he was just. I was like, "You back there? Hi." It was great.
That cat's been a 40mm axle. They're good. Grands. Are we on next subject? Because we talked about Grands.
The spring.
Yes.
Yeah, the spring Grands. The spring Grands. I'm going to be ready to go.
How much time we got?
Enjoy.
We're about 10 minutes.
March 5th. March 5th through 7th. We didn't. Not that time, Gabe. Time as in what time is March?
How much time we got, idiot?
For what?
This video.
Oh, yeah.
Captain Genius.
Oh, it's because Gabe has a time limit on us. Jesus.
I have to. Now we'll be here for 3 hours. Okay. So, on to the segue to the Grands. What is the main difference between running a local, a state race? So, a local like Ocala local, Orlando local, or SSKC, which is a state race, or even the Grands? What are the
money?
I
will always start it off with that. It's not always just that, but yeah. Well, I just like to throw that out.
90%, yeah.
Depends how you want to show up. You can always show up in an S10. By yourself in a single cab with no friends.
Or in a Subaru.
Or in a Subaru. Or you can show up in an 18-wheeler with a bunch of people you don't know, but they were wearing shirts. Like, hey, man, dude, make it look like we have a big team real quick.
What's the difference? In a local race, you don't need brand new tires because most likely nobody has brand new tires on. And you don't need everything fresh because most likely everything is not fresh. And the racing is not that serious. It's more for
kick back, relax, and hang out with friends. Yeah.
Have a good time or something like that.
I think if you go for a local race, and you just flat out, like, you know, if you're going to buy new tires just because it's like, let's just say Ocala sometimes, or Ocala is mainly the place, like, they'll throw a local right before, like, SSKC. So a lot of times people will be like, well, let's buy new tires for a local. So that way it gives them good data feedback for the following weekend. But if you're buying new tires just for a local race, just to, like, prove a point you can win or something, I mean, it's more kicking it back. Hey, seeing everybody I haven't seen in a month, or Gabe, 6 months. We see everybody every month. Gabe, 6 months.
Yeah.
But just kicking it back.
Why am I still slow?
Really?
I racing out fast.
The last video don't show that.
Oh, cut the tree down the front yard. Gabe's about to throw some shade.
I was having a bad weekend. Every dog has his day.
2020 was not your year, but you started off on a good note. So
it was mine.
Yeah. So, all right. So pretty much goes down to money. I think at the Grands, the level competition there it's also at a whole other level, especially when the Canadians come down.
Support though too. Not so much money, because I mean racing always takes money, right? You're not gonna do it just for. Well, I spoke to a guy last night. He threw me a couple bucks. No, yeah. So racing, the money, the support, because that's always an aspect though, But we've always talked about 206 is always very helpative, like supportive, like helpative and stuff like that. And there's always, I'll tell you this, but this is the 20%. Now I'm not going to tell you because I want that extra edge. But, I mean, at least there will get you to a certain point. So,
yeah, the gearing, we were way off at the Grands until someone came over and gave us a hint, and we basically swapped the gearing and gained half a second. We're competitive. But that's not a track. But the same thing is racing aspect. Like, I don't race people hard at local or state races. I should say I don't race them like it's a national race. Like, when it's a national race, you'll see I go all out. Like, if there's a window open, I don't fucking lift. I just send it in. If I have to make the move, I make the move. There's dog world. All right. At a local race, I'll take my time trying to pass people. Even SSKC, you'll see. I took my time. I got inside. I didn't really push anybody out. Like, I had the inside. I could just drove by line and just, all right, you want to be on the outside? Well, shit, later.
See ya.
No, I stayed in. And I don't jostle. If it becomes a big race, the Rock Cup, which you're not doing 206. Thanks, Rock Cup.
I know. Whatever. We're gonna let that one go.
Whatever. We're gonna let it go. But the Grands, you'll see in my video, right? Ben, he gets tangled up with someone, and I see an opening. There was no lane for me. I hopped the curb and just went for it because it's a national race. You gotta go for it, and nobody's gonna help you out. There's no teammates out there.
Yeah, you gotta remember that.
They just want to jostle and fight with everybody.
We are what I call we're owner and operators, right? We own everything and we operate it, right? So that's where it becomes a level of competition. Like with locals, like y'all want to have fun. I want to make sure I hang out with everybody. Yeah, cool. State races, it obviously kicks up another notch, but you gotta know your place. Like I knew my place in Homestead. I know.
Thought you knew.
Well, I mean, yeah, but when I raced number 2, I think his first name is Jorge. Listen, I got passed by Jed on the last turn because I raced that guy too clean. I did have the inside. I could have been like,
don't give away the dang video, man.
Yeah, save it for the video.
Okay, I didn't do nothing that day.
Save it for the video.
But we're not going to watch the video.
Listen, but
watch the video will be linked at the bottom. And
that is a game changer.
Yeah. So
another thing, I gotta say this before I get cut off, Gabe, and I know we have a time limit, blah blah blah.
Is Gabe even part of his own channel? Gabe's not even part of his own channel.
Yeah. So what? I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh, we're running out of time.
Whatever. Oh, I gotta say this. All right.
Uh-oh.
Race. We pay out of our own pocket the race.
Yes.
Okay. I don't get anything for free.
Owner and
I
operator.
don't
That's
get.
what I'm saying. Owner and
Yeah.
operator.
But people think we get free. Oh, free engines, free chassis. No, fuck that. Ain't free. It's out
I
of my
mean, we
goddamn
would take
pocket.
some. GoFundMe. Put the link below. My bank
Yeah,
account.
Fund us,
if you want to
sponsor
give me a free chassis
something.
or free engines, by all means, we'll
If you-
sponsor it all over the fucking place.
I-
But it
I-
ain't
If
free.
you want us
Those
to
those
drive
spaces
your
at the
stuff,
bottom can be filled. We can fill those spaces with sponsors at the bottom. So
Sponsorship, right? If you want some sponsor, yeah. But it's not. We pay out of our own pockets to go
our
race.
helmets
Okay,
aren't
so
free.
sometimes
We all wear
nothing
different
is
helmets.
free.
Jorge has Bell. Gabe and I happen to have Zamp. Like
What I'm saying, nothing. Basically, nothing that we do is free. Okay, we pay
No.
everyone. People say like, "Oh, yeah, no, we pay." Thank you for TV Cart USA helping us out and everything.
Thanks for Shad for
we'll
free suit. I got a free suit, but I mean, he gave
you
it to me.
got a free suit, but I didn't.
I worked for it, though. I did work for it.
Farshad helps us. Farshad helps us out a lot. Like, lets me borrow the trailer when I want, tents and stuff like that. But when it comes to parts and chassis, we gotta pay out of pocket, guys.
all right, guys, that's it for this podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button, share. I'm gonna be linking their channel at the bottom.
No shoot,
Wait,
man. What happened to the fire shop?
Last question. What happened to the question? Last question.
God.
Who's the favorite Ruiz?
Another Ruiz question? God, Gabe. Oh, my God.
Stupid, Gabe.
You know I am. Why you even ask that? Why you got to make Jorge's life miserable?
Gabe,
you guys already know I'm the favorite.
We need a new host. Get Dasha in here. I don't want to deal with this crap anymore.
All right, guys.
I don't want to deal with Gabe anymore.
Take care.
Bye, guys. He's horrible.